1-800-555-6780.
Conservatives are facing a defining crisis. Rabbi Yaakov Menken, whose group just severed ties with the Heritage Foundation, calls this a dangerous moment for conservatism, accusing Heritage President Kevin Roberts of refusing to condemn Tucker Carlson's softball interview with Holocaust denier Nick Fuentes, and even praising it before deleting the post. Menken warns that platforming this kind of hate isn't just bad for Jews. It's a mortal threat to the soul of the American right. So let's welcome in our next guest, Executive Vice President of the Coalition for Jewish Values, Rabbi Menken. Rabbi, it's good to see you.
Thank you so much, Rick, for having me.
You mentioned in the article the decision by Kevin Roberts to stand with Tucker Carlson is a, quote, clarifying moment for conservatives, a test of moral seriousness. Can you explain what you meant by that?
Well, certainly. It's not just, by the way, Tucker Carlson platforming Nick Fuentes and other anti-Semitic people for softball interviews. It's things that he himself has now said, accusing Israel of committing genocide and accusing hummus eaters of plotting to kill Jesus. There's obviously what's going on in Tucker Carlson's own repertoire that is simply unacceptable. And the reason why it's a defining moment is because if you look at the left, anti-Semitism took over. It's now permeated the Democratic Party simply because they never had a moment where they said, stop, we're going to consider this before it's too late. Now you have conservatives dividing themselves up on each side of this question. Do we think that Tucker Carlson is fine and he's helpful and he's good for the conservative movement? Or do we recognize the anti-Semitic danger that he presents?
Do you think he's always had these thoughts and feelings and just never shared them before? Or is he now having some sort of, metamorphosis, if you will?
You know, there's a kind of evolution that's obviously gone on here because Tucker Carlson in 1999 described the anti-Semitism that former governor of New Hampshire, and I'm just blanking on the name right now, but he said, you know, back then, here's this fellow, he's anti-Semitic, we're excluding from the party for this reason, and he was quite accurate about it. And he was describing all the things that are wrong with Tucker Carlson's rhetoric today. Here is exactly the problem that we are having, because he now is speaking the same lies that were being said then by others. And yet, over the last couple of years, I would say that he's been pushed where he was maybe a patrician, quiet anti-Semite. Now he's being very loud about it. So there is that as well.
Well, on your X page, you talk about taking the podium at the National Task Force to Combat Anti-Semitism meeting in Washington, D.C., and I'm wondering how that went.
Well, you know, these are the folks who left, who split from Heritage Foundation over this problem. This is a group of allies. You know, there's this thought that because Heritage is not with them, therefore Jews have no home in the conservative movement. This was completely false, because what we saw at that conference yesterday was a group of major organizations that are very committed to fighting anti-Semitism, and not a few voices from within Heritage Foundation itself who really would like to see Heritage going a very different way. So there's a battle to be fought here, and it really is about saving American civilization.
We have about 30 seconds left, Rabbi. It sounds like you still think there's a bright future for the Heritage Foundation.
Oh, I absolutely do. I think there's a problem here with Kevin Roberts. What he said in that first video was completely unacceptable. It was outrageous. It set up straw men, and it just called people a venomous coalition. I was joking that now we're the venomous coalition for Jewish values. But there's a real opportunity here if Roberts either apologizes completely, recognizes the error of his ways, recognizes Carlson's rhetoric is unacceptable, or he steps down. Then there's a bright future.
Rabbi Menken, appreciate your thoughts today, sir. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Coming up,